We'll go to the Rust Belt in AFC Divisional Donnybrook. The AFC North there. Featured main event there. That was the big game. Not on the undercard. The main top of the fold. Cleveland going the 135 miles to Pittsburgh. You know it was a big deal because the Fox refugees, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, were there hanging out calling the game. So if you didn't watch this and maybe you missed it, so T.J. Watt, the beneficiary being in the right place there, he scooped up a fumble that his teammate caused, Deshaun Watson puking up the football, and then T.J. Watt running 17 yards for the go-ahead touchdown midway through the fourth quarter, and that would be the final nail in the coffin. The Steelers defense led the way 26-22, the final. So Pittsburgh, a small home dog, and they're able to get the win over the Browns. Now, for many people watching the game, they needed to go puke because the game itself took a back seat to a moment in time, a sliver of time, a gruesome, macabre injury to Nick Chubb, the Browns running back there. He was hit by Steelers safety Minkah Fitzpatrick. And not only is this a season-ending injury, it could end up being a career-ending injury back at Georgia. He did a similar thing to his knee. Well, somebody else did it to him. But his knee exploded when he was in college, and it just exploded again. Multiple torn ligaments. It was so bad. How bad was it? It was so bad, ABC would not even show the clip. That's how bad it was. But I don't understand that, and here's why. It's all over the internet. It's like when TV people don't show a fan running on the field. The game's paused. There's somebody running on the field. So then I go on one of these apps, and I have 17 different camera angles of the fan running on the field, and the Nick Chubb thing is there. If you put a warning out saying, hey, you probably don't want to watch this if you're a little skittish, that's all you have to do. But you don't show it, and then everyone's like, oh, curiosity. I'm going to go check it out. Now, I hate looking at these things. I can't stand it. But people were sending it to me. Hey, did you see this? Your knee's not supposed to go like that. All right, anyway. All right, so we will get back to that in a moment. But let's start with the game itself. The better story in the losing locker room, so that is where we will begin. How do you dissect, as we discuss, how do you dissect Deshaun Watson's performance for the Cleveland Browns in this game? So I've got Nordstrom's, Eddie Murphy, and Harpoon Gun. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to give you heartache. That's what the Cleveland Browns have right now. They have a lot of heartache. So, as far as the game itself, I loved every second of watching Deshaun Watson play quarterback. Man, was that fun. Sign me up for more of that. Sign me up for more of that. $230 million guaranteed money here. And, wow, I guess that money, $230 million, does not get you what it used to get you, as this guy was all braggadocious in recent days, talking about how he was going to be a better version of the quarterback in Houston when he played for the Texans. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! I can tell you right now, he's played 8 games with the Cleveland Browns. He is tangibly worse. Deshaun Watson is tangibly worse. And he wasn't that great in Houston. He just put up a lot of fantasy stats, and dumb fans, low information fans, thought Watson was better than he was, but he wasn't. All right, we knew that. The Cleveland Browns didn't know that. This guy, watching Watson play on Monday night, he was the F word. Frazzled, not that F word. Frazzled was how Deshaun Watson performed in this game. And going out there, he was stumbling and bumbling around. Was absolutely priceless. It was absolutely priceless there. The guy is supposedly billed as a franchise quarterback for the Cleveland football team, and he went out there, and man, was that a pathetic performance. He needed, I think we needed oxygen. He didn't need oxygen. I needed oxygen because I was overdosing on Schadenfreude watching Deshaun Watson out there. It was fabuloso is what it was, and I didn't see any air guitar. Did you see? I didn't see that. Maybe I missed it. Did he have the air guitar like he did in week 1 when he didn't play that well? And the Cleveland football team beat the Cincinnati football team. I don't recall seeing the air guitar here in week 2. But if the NFL thing doesn't work out, and by the way, it's not looking so good for Deshaun Watson right now. He's got a terrible reputation and all that. He's not playing well. He's a total bust. The greatest failure in NFL history is Deshaun Watson, based on the amount of money he was given guaranteed and the results we have seen up until this point. But Deshaun Watson has another job lined up for him if it doesn't work out in the NFL. So Watson, he can get a job at Nordstrom's because he has mastered the art of gift wrapping the game to the opposition here, because that game was gift wrap for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Watson, let's go down the, not a list, but the big board. Deshaun Watson, if you look at Big Ben's big board, Deshaun Watson had a pick 6 to start the game. He handed the Steelers 7 points right there to begin the game. Then, not one, but two fumble. I loved it. Oh, it was so great. He was sacked 6 times. Watson was sacked 6 times in this game. Again, the same Watson we saw in Houston. He's got no internal clock. He doesn't know when to get rid of it. You got to throw the ball quick. You can't hold on to it. You got to treat it like a hot potato. You got to treat that ball like a hand grenade, a live hand grenade. You've pulled the pin. You want to get rid of the hand grenade so the shrapnel goes somewhere else. Not Watson. No. He knows better. He knows better. So sacked 6 times. He committed not one, but two face mask penalties where he held the face mask. That's a personal foul penalty, which handicapped the Cleveland Browns on those 2 drives. He could not help but grab the Pittsburgh Steelers player's face mask. It was like he was back at the massage table, and he was getting a massage, and he just liked to play touchy-feely, and that's what it looked like. And you hate to see it unless you don't. I don't hate to see it. Man, Watson is a wonderful villain. He even shoved the referee, and they didn't kick him out. Why would you not kick Watson out? He shoved the official. It was on camera. I'm sitting on my fat ass watching Deshaun Watson push a referee.
Personal foul.
Yeah. Didn't call it. They didn't kick him out. Why? Were they afraid he was going to get in the happy baby yoga pose? Were they worried about that from Deshaun Watson? Boy, what a curse being a Cleveland Browns fan. I mean, you got to pull for this guy. You got to pull for Watson. The guy's got cooties. Deshaun Watson's got the cooties here. The creepy quarterback. Man. Flying all over the place. The football's going here, there, and everywhere, and he sucked at a time you cannot suck during the game. All right, now turning the page. Page 2 here. Let's get to the injury. And what a blow. What a horrible thing here. Nick Chubb. Chubb goes down here, and there have been mixed opinions about this. There's mixed opinions about everything, but Nick Chubb, the all-everything running back for the Cleveland football team, goes down. He's out. So first for the Browns, we'll start with the Browns, then we'll get to the bigger picture. But the Cleveland Browns side of things here, you look at the Brownies, all right, you're like, what's going on here? The Cleveland Browns on the field, all right, what is the Maller scale of concern for the Cleveland offense without Nick Chubb in the lineup? And he's not going to play, might never play again in the NFL based on how terrible this injury was and past injuries that he's had to that leg. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being Armageddon, football Armageddon, I am at a 9.0 for the Cleveland Browns offense. And I don't think I'm being a shock jock and all that. Here's why. Deshaun Watson is under center, and he's channeling an old movie I saw back in, I think it was the late 90s. Somewhere around there. It was an Eddie Murphy movie, Dr. Doolittle, because Deshaun Watson is Dr. Doolittle out there at the quarterback position. He gets paid a whole lot of money, but he doesn't live up to that contract. And Nick Chubb was the linchpin for the Cleveland offense. And that firepower is not there anymore. You toss a wet blanket on the human dynamo, he's out. And so not that Cleveland was going to be great, the Browns being an amazing all-world team. However, with Nick Chubb exiting stage left, Deshaun Watson God only knows what kind of trouble he's going to get into. Now, he averaged like 5.9 yards per pass in this game, and that sucks. That is not good. All right, now the last word here. So let's go to the big picture. Does the injury to Nick Chubb help or hurt the argument that running backs have made to try to get more money? That there's some people saying, well, this proves they've got to get more money. The NFL has to take care of running backs because Nick Chubb played 2 games. His career could be over now. That this is right there, the proof that the running backs can give the NFL saying that you have to pay us more money. And so I'm on the other side of that. I would argue the other way, that if you ask the question, does this injury to Nick Chubb help or hurt, it is a harpoon gun to the argument that running backs get more money. It just is, right? NFL teams will use this as a direct line to not pay running backs, as evidence that you shouldn't pay running backs because they are unreliable. They are injury prone. This is proof for NFL teams like, hey, see, we didn't pay these guys the big money over the long term, and now look at it, we're in better shape. We've got a business to run here. We have a business to run. And it's not only is it Nick Chubb, but you have Saquon Barkley also with the Giants, who's out for at least a few weeks. He's gone. J.K. Dobbins is out for the year in Baltimore. And so you've got all of these moving parts here, and they're all pointing against the NFL teams wanting to pay running backs any kind of big money.